great turnout of top institutional investors in Australia, as well as innovative new companies looking to attract capital and investment. We've got a really awesome lineup of local as well as international speakers, so all systems go at the moment, and the conference is pretty impressive so far.
I'm Luke Osborne. I work for Windlab, COO. So our company was originally part of CSIRO. We're a wind developer, pure play wind developer operating in the United States, Canada, South Africa and Australia. We're about 7 years old and have some of Australia's better known venture investors as our shareholders, including Lendlease Ventures and Innovation Capital.
I'm Mark Miller. I'm the Managing Director of ASX listed Greenearth Energy. This is the third CleanTech forum that we've been involved in now, and basically we're here to find investors in our either our corporate entity or our projects.
I'm Michael Walsh. I'm Head of Strategy and Development at Hunter Hall. Hunter Hall's here today. We've been invited to talk about our interest as fund managers in investing in the CleanTech sector. And I also follow the sector as part of my work at Hunter Hall as the so-called ethical analyst in the business.
I'm a Managing Director and founder of Hann-Ocean Technology Private Limited from Singapore. I'm here to promote our revolutionary wave energy converter technology, as well as a floating platform for renewable devices, including wind, solar, tidal and wave.
I look after IP and licensing with regards to the energy technologies that we work on. So we look at renewables, clean coal, geothermal, a whole range of energy technologies within CSIRO. And my job is to get the products of our research out into the community. So through licensing, through starting up companies. So for example, Windlab, who are here today, are a CSIRO spin-out. So that's the result of some of the work that comes out of the area that we work with.
My name is Jeff Everson. I'm Managing Director and Founder of Archex Investment Management. We run a fund and we invest in companies, global listed companies, that we say will benefit from the transition to a low carbon economy.
I'm Ivor Frischknecht, Investment Director of Starfish Ventures. It's very interesting so far, in particular some of the focus on the renewable energy targets and some of the government policies in the area, and amazingly some of the really critical people from both government and industry are here, so it's been really good.
This morning's session, I think it's been fantastic. Obviously it's interesting to see it from the investment perspective of the big super funds and what they're looking for and the type of fund to invest in this area. So generally they're looking for safety. If I could use a phrase that Deutsche Bank has popularised, TLC, transparency, longevity and certainty. So that's what you're looking for in government policy, which we haven't got here in Australia, but you'll find in many countries around the world now in renewable energy. And I'd like to say it's not all about climate change. A lot of it is about energy security and the growth in energy consumption. Those are the reasons, really, especially energy security for Asia is a big issue. With oil going through $100 now, there's a lot of focus on energy security at the moment.
Well, it's early days, but it's been, I think the issues that the sector faces are out on the table already. Unfortunately, they're all pretty negative. We're in a holding pattern in the sector at the moment. There's policy uncertainty, recovery from the global financial crisis, and looking for a new direction in terms of company business model.
Our focus is on hot sedimentary aquifer geothermal as opposed to hot rock geothermal. Just like to make that distinction. We're also diversifying into the areas of waste heat recovery, energy efficiency and concentrated heat and power technologies as well.
Our technical team is still based in Canberra, and from there we deploy our technology, which allows us to zoom in on wind energy hotspots. It's an atmospheric modelling technology that's proved very successful. Most of the wind energy sites in Australia were located with that system, and we are the market leader in South Africa, based on that as well, Alberta in Canada, and Midwest in the US. So it's a technology that has worked in practice over a long period of time. It's allowed us to get to a lot of wind energy sites and more importantly avoid investing in dud sites, which is a common problem with the industry.
Other energy generation areas that we're looking at, in particular, are large-scale solar thermal. So we have a heliostat field that we've actually built in Newcastle, and we're currently constructing a new heliostat field based on what we've learned to the first one, so better designs of both the heliostats and the field layout. A range of different receivers as well that we're actually working on there. We do some work in wind as well, mainly in the optimisation of wind and looking at wind in very turbulent environments rather than actually the construction of wind technologies themselves.
Revolutionary wave energy converter technology. We developed this concept since year 2008. It has nearshore and of course offshore applications. It has a square, or we call it box shape, and also a round shape. So we call it Type B and Type R. Type B mainly applicable for nearshore application, where it can be fixed on, can be installed on fixed breakwater or floating pontoon. For far shore, we have this Type R, which is a round shape, the floating device. We anchored it to the seabed using conventional mooring device or tension legs.
There's massive potential in Australia, but we need to commercialise the potential. So there's massive potential at the University of New South Wales, massive potential at CSIRO. I mean, solar, obviously, the sun frequently shines in Australia, much more than it does in Germany. Germany's got 9 gigawatts of solar, we've got 150 megawatts or something. I mean, it's a minuscule amount compared to Germany, which is absolutely ridiculous. I mean, Australia's blessed with sunlight, with wind, with wave. I mean, it makes no sense, obviously, for us to be digging up stored sunlight in the form of coal and burning it and releasing the carbon when we're blessed, obviously, with sun and wind and wave, like I said.
The future of wind power, I think it's broadly very positive. We're still seeing enormous growth, and I think it's been an average of 28% a year over 15 or so years, and that really isn't showing any signs of abating.
I think solar and wind in Australia, as the cost of solar comes down and as efficiencies are imported elsewhere from other countries into Australia, which is a great generator of solar energy, that's an interesting area. There's obviously enormous capacity that can be built in solar in Australia. We have endless amounts of sun, and so with the renewable energy target, that's probably one area that we think offers some hope.
Certainly, this amount of our market research, we understand Australia, especially the south coast of Australia, has very high wave potential, and we are looking for opportunity to have a demonstration project of our Dracul in Australian water.
Geologically, the systems that we're seeing being developed outside of Australia are similar to what we have here, and they're basically basin structures, if you like, whereby sedimentary rocks are buried at depth, they contain water, and they're being heated by what we call crustal heat flow. So heat that's emanating from the core of the Earth. So these are naturally occurring systems.
Clearly we need some certainty in how we're going to deal with smart meters because they're going out into homes, but in all states except Victoria there's not actually a way to take advantage of those smart meters yet, so the consumers aren't going to benefit. So we're all going to get new meters without any benefit. We need some regulation to allow that to happen.
We're focusing on a number of sort of national initiatives. So things, a lot of work in energy demand, which has already been talked about this morning. We're involved in the smart grid and smart city work that Tim actually mentioned in the first talk this morning, as well as a number of other demand management. Another CSIRO success story, if you like, is building IQ. who are also here today, and they're based on some of our demand management technology.
The major issue Australia faces is that it's a small country with quite uncertain outlook in terms of regulation for clean tech. So while it's a great place to produce clean energy and develop technologies, it's facing those other headwinds.